This is where the fun begins.
That's just a rumor that has kind of crawled up through fandom for years and years and years. I know that Tim met George Lucas. They had a sit down conversation before the first book was done. I know that as with any of the novels, everything is cleared through Lucasfilm, and 100% for anything as major as a love interest being developed for Luke. That's a decision that George would have given a yes or no on.
Are you sure? So be it.
Did you miss me? Good morning, everyone, and this is your host, Laura Baga, and welcome to CAF Chat on my channel, OG Star Wars. I am so happy to be here with you guys, and I always look forward for Thursday's CAF Chat. So how are you guys doing? I see everybody's hopping on, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's going to be a pretty tight, pretty eventful CAF Chat. So if you're joining now, please hit that like button and let people know we're live. If they want to know a little bit more Sith history, they want to see what's going on with Bob Iger and what these rumors are, and if these rumors are false or true and how they're being perceived. And if you want to get into Lucas Facts, Book of the Week, all the fun stuff, all the fun nerdy stuff that this channel is about when it comes to Star Wars. And any type of other Disney, Star Wars, or basically quote unquote Star Wars news. We're going to talk about that today. Yeah. So welcome. If you are here or catching the replay, hit that like button and comment. Of course, this is always about interacting with the chat. And with that, chatting it up, answering your questions, all of that. And so if the very important question is, and I fail to ask this sometimes, is what's in your mug? What are you drinking? Do you have some CAF? Do you have tea? Do you have something a little stronger, harder? What are you enjoying this morning, afternoon, or evening? Wherever you are tuning in from. Yeah, so I am on book 3 of in the New Jedi Order series in the trilogy, the trilogy, Dark Tide. So I'm on number 2, and I haven't picked it up in a couple of days, but that one's another kind of heart strings pulling kind of books, and you're gonna find out if rereading it or even reading it for the first time, the series, you're gonna come into almost every book or every other book that's gonna pull on the heartstrings with what's going on for the heroes within the series here, within this timeline. And so they are like, the series, I believe, is one of the biggest important series within the Star Wars history because of the type of threat that's brought in by Lucasfilm. And because no one is safe, we could say, well, Luke is safe because of George, but that still doesn't count. No one is safe. Right now, within just 3 books in, we're still dealing with Mara Jade's disease, and how she's using the Force to help sustain her, even though she has taught lessons to Luke and to her nephew Anakin about using the Force too much as a crutch. And then here she gets this disease that the Force helps at least keep at bay, so it doesn't ruin her molecular structure, and destroy her body from within. So I think that's an interesting twist on that. I don't think anybody has ever brought that up within the series or talked about that. The value of being physical as a Jedi and not using the Force as a crutch. And one of the persons that has preached about that, and now she has to use it to keep and sustain her life until a cure is found. So yeah, I'm getting into the New Jedi Order right now. I just can't stop thinking about it. You're like this reread, and rereads are so important, you guys, especially in the Star Wars history timeline or the historical timeline, because you're going to pick up these books and reread, and then you're going to probably discover something that maybe you missed the first time around or the second time around. There's still value in that, because as you read through each series throughout the timeline, once you return back to that, it's almost like it's brand new. There's familiarity. Yes, there is. There's that nostalgia, that familiarity, but you look forward to it still. You discover some things, or maybe a new perspective pops in your head about something, and you're like, oh, should I miss that? Or I really wasn't thinking about this until now. So, and then you start realizing how well it's connected in continuity. You can go through these books, and I still have some books that are legend labeled, and I should annotate them, but then I want to go ahead and replace them with the actual book that's pre-Disney, and then maybe sell these or donate these out. But for the books that I have that are the pre-Disney, like hardcovers or paperback, I love annotating, but with those, I don't think I want to highlight or annotate. So, like sticky notes are really good for that. So if you're a person that likes to, highlight important events or something that strikes you within a series or a book or whatever, get your sticky note out. Yeah. So good morning, everyone. Yeah. New Jedi Order talk from the first get-go. Yeah. I can't help it, because I don't do a script here, and I don't have scripts are good, especially when you do your research and write them, but I don't have any ghostwriters either, so this is all just me talking intuitively to you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and see who's in the chat right now. And before I do that, I'm just going to have a reminder on November 9th. It's a Saturday or Sunday? Geez, I should know this already because we were talking about it. It's a Saturday, so November 9th. I think it's 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, my time, on Star Wars Marvel Pierce channel. We are gathering to talk about Vector Prime. So I'm so friggin' excited about that. So stay tuned for more information. I'll get that information to you guys here within the day or two, so you guys can mark your calendars and come join us. And mind you, this is not going to be ghost written, no scripts. This is all going to be our take, our talk. We're going to be bouncing off of each other on events and stuff like that. And yes, I am putting together my review video for my reread. It's just I've been so busy. That's my life. But because I'm busy doesn't mean I'm going to get a ghostwriter either. So I'm just going to go as is, and pretty soon you guys will get one. So thank you so much, Justin, for coming in, and force choke that like button on your way in. And the stream is ghostwriter free, and the creator has their own actual knowledge, thoughts, and analysts, and opinions on the material she is covering. And then here, let's see here. I was getting some socks and stuff because my feet were freezing. And of course, our mod, Mr. Soul Assassin. So thank you for coming in and always supporting the channel. And is that Darth Exar Kun? Yes, it's Darth Exar Kun. Oh my god, that sounds so fucking weird. Darth Exar Kun. Wow, I just can't with that. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel organic, I guess you could say. That is so weird. All right, 40 hours of outlaws, however she says it. I can't even do that. But not enough time to read New Jedi Order. Right. You know, not even a time to even I'm going to say this. No, I shouldn't. I was going to say not even enough time to go to Wikipedia at least to kind of write a script yourself. I'm sorry. I'm a bitch. I know. All right. Just ended the chapter 22 Vector Prime reread last night. Awesome. It's getting good. I just, it's just some good stuff there. Silver Org says, Ogre, sorry, I said Ogre. Sit right down and you'll hear a tale of a faithful Sith. And do you guys recognize who my avatar is with my face on it? Do you recognize her? She is a Sith. And let's see here. Cafe today. Cafe. Follow me on Twitter where all the fun, exciting stuff happens. And let's see here. We do have Darmic McQuaid in here. I do have merch. I hardly even advertise it, so thank you so much. If you guys are interested in t-shirt, mugs, wall art, whatever, go check out the merch there. I need to put some more stuff up, but go check it out. I need to find one that's compatible with YouTube so I can have it at the bottom of every video so that you guys can scroll through and see what you want to buy. Let's see here. The first book alone poses a lot of moral dilemmas. Does great job comparing sacrifices in the book versus sacrifices made in A New Hope. Conflict between Jason and Anakin is philosophy, but then Jason kicking into Big Brother mode when needed. Yeah, and that's a thing. And I can't wait till we talk about this because if you're gonna read through the series like I am, you're going to see how conflicted Jason is with the Force. And what pisses me off is when someone talks about like the family, Skywalker family, and gets shit wrong. That proves to me they have not read. So first of all, Jaina was not forced to go after and destroy her brother. It was her sole decision that she went ahead and talked to the council about. She was never forced. There was never forcing anybody to do anything. She did the right thing. Yes, she knew she had to do it. She knew she was the only one probably capable of doing it. She went and got further training with Mandalorians, particularly Boba Fett and Babine. But she was never forced to go after her brother. That is a huge misconception. That tells me the person who stated that did not read Legacy of the Force series, especially Invincible or even Revelation, didn't pick up those books. And not only that, this person did not read New Jedi Order, because saying that New Jedi Order, like the conflicts in New Jedi Order, changed Jason's perspective about the Force, that's not true. From the get-go, from Vector Prime, Jason is already conflicted about the Force and as being a Jedi. So there was no influence there. He was already questioning how a Jedi should be, how they should communicate and be with the Force and work for the galaxy. And yeah, there was manipulation and influences throughout the series that hardened him and still made him question. But after the series, he went on a 10-year sabbatical to explore different Force societies because his train of thought was still the same. He was still questioning the Force. So it wasn't the Vong being absent in the Force, because there's a story behind why they're that, and I'm not going to talk about it right now, why they're that way. It is about Jason questioning himself as a Force user and as a Jedi, and him going on that sabbatical, plus his torture and the manipulation from Vergere. So from my point, from the get-go, he was already conflicted going in. So that stuff didn't change him. His perspective, he was already in the mindset of that kind of change, I guess you could say. So again, this person did not read any damn thing to understand, and leaves out the 10-year sabbatical, where when you get into Dark Nest trilogy, that's the last series. It's not a part of the New Jedi Order series, but it's in the same timeline of the New Jedi Order era, is Dark Nest trilogy. And Luke regrets, and then that goes into Legacy era. Luke regrets allowing Jason from going on his sabbatical. And then when you get into Fate of the Jedi, part of Luke's sentencing for his exile, he's taken on the mission to follow his tracks, Jason's tracks, to see where he visited and what influenced him for him to turn the way he did, going to the dark side. So again, this person doesn't know shit, neither does their ghostwriters. All right, so that's my little rant. Let's move on. Han on the emotional roller coaster from hell. Yes, that right there, holy crap. And then as you get further into the series, you'll see some more. And man, that is like gut wrenching, and Leia allowing, but still in mourning for not only Chewie, but for how Han is handling this too. It is like you are feeling this whole family being pushed and pulled during this time of great change from these invaders coming in, and how to handle them and stuff. Man, great writing between all of the authors. I see OG got most of the internet talking in New Jedi over last couple of weeks. Yes, I am. That's what I'm going to do, because you know what? I fucking read it. I know it. I have read it before. I've listened to the audibles too as well. I know some audibles like where they switch the story timeline around, and it's kind of pisses me off. I think the Vector Prime one does a little bit. Yeah, so keep the word out for New Jedi Order. Keep it going on the internet, our social media. I still am a MCU fan. It is the MCU I don't favor. And I agree. I think that's every single franchise has that poison injected into it now. That's what I'm going to call it. It's poisoned. Han and Leia in the Disneyverse calling their son Ben makes zero sense. Right. I agree. Let's see. We're both from the country of Texas. Tejas, you are from Tejas. All right. The captain says, I don't care if they are still calling it MCU. Neurotic is right. MCU. Let's see here. I hit that. Good morning to you, Masquerade. How are you doing? And then it says, quote unquote, I don't have time. I don't have time. Yeah. I don't have time either, but I'm still getting shit done. Might be slower than hell, but I'm still getting shit done. Dermot says, Rose Leslie is the actress who plays I'm going to butcher this, so I'm not going to say her name because I'm not very privy of Games of Thrones. She married Kit Harington, Jon Snow in real life. All right. Jason Solo. Yes, Solo. Yep. Let's see here. Anakin Solo is a great name. Disney fucked up, didn't they? Killing your twin brother isn't easy, no matter how the fuck our TFG he is. How I'm missing out on that. I'm like blanking. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm like, I didn't wake up late, but I had other crap to do before I started the stream. And I'm barely sipping on coffee. So there you go. You got OG Star Wars still booting up her brain to get shit going. That's okay. That's okay. Not Ma Disney. All the callbacks throughout Legacy are great. Yes, they are. And then let's see here. I pulled out my Dustless, my Dustless Essentials Atlas, and we will be going over 3 maps of the Vong War. Oh, and I have the RPG. I have the RPG one from the first half of the series, so that I'll bring that out too. So that's a cool one. I like that. Let's see here. And I like the darkness, but I hear a lot of people they just don't like the hive mind type bugs and stuff. But it's common. Like if you get a bunch of insects that work together uniformly and stuff like that, there's a hive mind. That's a hive mind. They're all focused on one thought, train of thought, and stuff like that. So I get how Denning did that. And all this, and then probably the mating ritual or the hive ritual that they do, because Jaina and what's his name? I can't think of Zach. Yeah, are in that and stuff. So, but I like it overall. I especially like it because of the fact that Denning, and you'll see this also in Tatooine Ghost, that because the PT era is open, that they can refer back to those events now. And so he basically tied in like ways of discovery about who Anakin is for Tatooine Ghost, for Leia, for her healing journey, I guess you can say. And then in Darkness Trilogy, ways of discovery of who Padme is. So I like that for those, because finally we get some stuff resolved, right? Years later, because during the time, George Lucas was like, the PT era is off limits right now until I open it up, which is understandable. He's the creator, right? So I like those for that too. I know Matt Wilkins doesn't care for it because like, oh, they're just ham-fisting it in because finally they get to write about it. But I get the point, because it's creating a resolution for these characters about who, Anakin and Padme are and stuff. So the captain says, caffeine Kennedy regime Lucasfilm screws up, go far beyond not giving us a scene with Luke, Han, and Leia. Yeah, I know. I mean, we're retreading things that we already know, right? That's why I'm here with you guys for George Lucas era of Star Wars, because even me talking about New Jedi Order right now, we get to have the big 3 together right now. Well, kind of. Han is in mourning in Vector Prime and kind of gets lost on his own, I guess you could say. Oh shit, I still have a lot ways to go. Let's see here. It's the way to depower, decommission a character without cucking them. Yeah. Yo, what did I miss? I'm just yapping about New Jedi Order series and stuff. So just sit down and enjoy the fun. 99th Jedi Warrior. Star Wars Battlefront 4 would have been the best game, considering that they were going to employ something of a Star Wars multiverse in the game. Well, games are basically S-canon, so sometimes they're not even canon, so maybe that's... But I don't care for multiverse for Star Wars. That's just me. I don't think that... Maybe for a game, I don't know. But... for the overall storyline, timeline, and stuff, no multiverse. Masquerade says, we do not need that sort of thing. Let's see here. Ben Skywalker is so much cooler than Ben Solo. I agree. And then Melissa Lord, good morning to you. How are you doing? And is Tejas Spanish for Texas? And there are so much forms of concept art for Battlefront 4 with the Jedi characters with dark side versions of themselves and vice versa with the Sith and bad guys too. Yeah. All right, you guys. So I could sit here and go through the chat and just rant, rave, discuss, have fun, just talking about the new Jedi Order. As you can see, I'm excited about that because that wasn't even planned. I wasn't even thinking about discussing anything about the new Jedi Order. And here I am talking about that. And so let's go ahead and start getting into something here. We're going to get into Lucas Facts first. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll get into some news. So first of all, where is it? There we go.
That's great.
It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
That's going to be great.
So this is short and sweet. I thought it was fun to bring up concept art that Lucas approved. And so the concept of Boba Fett, and this, you could also say this is a concept in a sense for Stormtrooper armor as well. And I was like, should I put that on there too? But I'm just going to note that. Both Ralph McQuarrie and Joe Johnston developed Boba Fett's look in early 1978. Image showing is Joe Johnston's design and lists many of the gadgets. So we have both of them working in tandem, building the character and how he looks with the armor and all this, with the helmet, all of that, components of every single part of his suit, I guess you can say, with the gadgets, all of that. This was all under George Lucas approved and all this. And we get a glimpse of Boba Fett, who he is. And this is the start of the Mandalorian culture. If you want to go ahead and start, tracing how the Mandalorians began with their looks and stuff, it's Boba Fett. So it's only understandable to basically just commend and celebrate, I guess you could say, this origin here of this concept art. And I don't know about you guys, but George Lucas has brought in some unique and very talented artists. And coming up in November on the expandeduniverse.com, there's going to be a series coming out with me and Matt Wilkins talking about Star Wars artists, Star Wars arts, like concept art and designers for the comics and stuff like that, and rating them, talking about them and the images and all that. So stay tuned for that. Once that starts being advertised or starts being put up on the website, I'll be sharing it here and on Twitter. So I'm excited for that. So I thought as an artist, someone who appreciates good talent, Lucas fact, this is a great Lucas fact. It may not be directly like Lucas did this, but this is a fact that this is where his concept, like his ideas through these guys' eyes and visions came through for Boba Fett. So I thought this was pretty interesting here. In expandeduniverse.com, here you go. If you guys don't know this site, please save it in your browser and visit it, support it. There's so many great contributors to that. I think even Tim has contributed to it. I've been asked, and I just don't have the time to write anything. However, we did make the time together to do the series, and it's video. So that'll be coming this November. So I'm excited about that. Please talk about Star Wars Legoverse. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. I don't even care. Okay, so you guys, this is me. I don't care for Legos. So those who like Legos, don't take offense of this. It's just me. So yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry. Joe Johnston directed Captain America, the First Avenger. You know what? I didn't even know that. Really? You learn something new every day. Okay. Dilly Squat says, this is the design we see in the beloved holiday special. I know. Isn't that crazy? And Boba Fett is the original way, but there was never that quote. So I don't even use that for original stuff. I'm sorry, but I get what you're saying. I get the point there, and I love it. Soul Assassin says, didn't have enough cash to make multiple suits, just one that became Boba Fett. And then, so I need coffee. For a second there, I heard New Jedi Ogre. You New Jedi Ogre. Woo! Okay. Yeah, you guys are freaking amazing. Okay, so we have that. Let's get into some bit of news. I'm going to go ahead and just probably scroll down to that article piece So let me pull that up. Let me see here. Disney still will name. Okay. So here we go. So this has been on the tongues or on the tweets, if you want to say, of some people who follow this and are curious to see what direction Disney's going to go. This is not only pertaining to Lucasfilm, this is Disney as a whole. So a lot of blame goes into Iger for Lucasfilm, but they forget to, put blame on him for the other properties that they own. So this is it right here. So basically, Walt Disney said that they would announce another replacement for CEO Bob Iger in the early 2000, 2026. I'm still back in the 1900s. I'm still back in that time. Damn, those are good times. Like 1996 and all that. Like 1980s too. Like those were some good fucking times. Like it's like right now I'm like, am I in an alternative universe here or something? But that's another story. And name a veteran of Morgan Stanley as board chair on Monday for the first time, announcing a timetable of succession at this storied media and entertainment company. So basically, let me find what it says down here. I know there's the one I'm looking for. So this is right here. People have taken this as Iger being demoted, I guess you could say, or fired for, I guess you could say, and I'll just use layman terms, his failure under Disney. And that's not the case. So he basically, where's the one I really want to find? I shared it on Twitter, but basically when he came back after Chapek was dropped and he came back, he had a contract for 2 years and it ends at the end of 2026. And so this is just him, coming to the terms of his contract and it ending, and then them bringing someone else in. This isn't about him being fired or demoted for anything he may have or have not done. So I just want to make this clear. This is just the contract getting ready to expire and they're not renewing, or he's not coming back in. And I think that part of this is his decision too. I don't see any malice behind that, even though we don't care for the man. I just think that he just wrote out, he worked his contract and now it's coming to an end in 2026, which is what, 2 years? Like not even that, like 1.5 years or so. So he'll still be with us until then, or with the company Disney, not with us, but you know what I mean. And so don't believe rumors that he's getting kicked out, that he is getting demoted or whatever, because that's not the case. And I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's very important how people address this kind of stuff and turn it into something it's not. And so I just thought I'd bring this up. Not defending the man, just calling it as it is. Just calling it as it is. And now, will the successor be more brilliant than him? Or like him, or worse? We don't know. This is about Disney. It's not about Lucasfilm. Far as I know, Kennedy's contract is not attached to his, so she could be staying on a lot longer. So I wouldn't be saying, oh, once he's gone, Kennedy's gone. That's not the case. So we just have to see what happens after this. So just thought I would come into this. I know right now there's some people that are saying like Cameron Prishaw, whatever his name is, Pacha. He's saying, oh, well, Kennedy, and then some of his people that follow him are saying Kennedy is already out, that she's going on Zooms with Disney, asking for her job back, all of this bullshit. But yet we have like publications of her talking about certain events going on for Lucasfilm and stuff like that. So she's not gone. She's not gone. She's not begging for her job. She's still within her office. She's still leading Lucasfilm. So don't believe those rumors either. So that's not the case whatsoever. So, we haven't talked about, the Sparrow in a long time. And I'm not talking about Captain Sparrow either. But I haven't, talked about that controversy in a long time, and Stephanie Janicek and stuff like that, who is an avid follower of Pasha. And they're still saying she's gone, she's out, and all of this. But still, like, there are articles and events that prove them otherwise. So don't fall into these rumors. Don't fall into a paid platform of bullshit in someone's Patreon. Do your homework yourself. Do your homework yourself. When there's announcements about the company, Kennedy's always either talking or there's quotes from her about the situation. So there we go. So I just wanted to bring this to light. So now that I got that out, let's go ahead and talk about the lore. So if you have the Book of Sith, grab your Book of Sith, grab some coffee. I'm going to play something real quick, just a nice little break. And it's going to be, it's not that long, but I just feel like it's needed to be played because I haven't played it yet. Where did it go? Here we go. So refresh your drink, grab some snacks, grab your Book of Sith, because we are going to get into Sith weapons and battle and all of that.
Someone asked me to give the best reason why someone should read the Expanded Universe. After giving it a lot of thought, here's what I have to say. The Expanded Universe respects the reader. In the Expanded Universe, Luke Skywalker's optimism continues where it left off in Return of the Jedi. He's fulfilled hope to the galaxy, just like Obi-Wan said he would, not like the Disney movies where he gave up on the Jedi or even the whole galaxy for that matter. The character you see in those movies is not Luke. Luke isn't a quitter. He's not a pessimist. He's a leader. He's inspirational. And he's always there for his friends in times of need. Another character is Han Solo. He's introduced to us in A New Hope as a loner, a man who cares only for himself and nobody else. But by the end of Return of the Jedi, that all turns around when he finally finds friends he can trust and a true love to spend the rest of his life with. And that's exactly what he does in the Expanded Universe. Han is a devoted husband and father to Leia and their kids. He loves his family above all else. In the new movies, Han turns out to be a selfish deadbeat dad who ran out on his family when things get tough. It's a complete 180 from the character that we saw from Return of the Jedi. Now, another thing the EU does is it rewards its readers. Attention to detail when it comes to continuity has never been done at such a level as when it was performed by the Expanded Universe. Avid readers will constantly be rewarded for their diligence as comics, novels, video games, and even children's books share connections throughout the entire series, making it almost a flawless, continuous story. And though it has its minor flaws, it's still the best overall story and continuity out there, period. That's what the EU does. It respects and rewards its readers. And that's the best reason you should give it a try. Long live the Expanded Universe.
Long live the Expanded Universe. And we are definitely talking about that right now with the Book of Sith. And this one's kind of going to be a long haul one. So I might still split this up in two, because I like to keep it well. At least I don't try to go over 2 hours as much, or if I can help it, because I believe that 2 hours is a beautiful time frame of discussion of the topics that are presented, and especially people's time spans with life and having to get back into the real world, I guess you can say. So I'm trying to be respectful of everybody's time, but I know you guys are awesome. You guys won't mind if we go over and stuff. I just don't like to steal the time from you, if that makes sense. So Book of Sith here. So we are getting into like the personal combat lightsaber constructions, using of the saber staff. Woo, there's pretty good, interesting facts behind that. The saber staff and then Sith armor, dark side combat, and then we are not going to go into the wild power because that's bullshit. That's not even Sith. So we ain't going to do that. I just like want to rip out those pages here because it's so fucking stupid. Just because they use the dark side doesn't make them Sith. Because then if that's the case, then you should have the dark side users here and the cults and stuff like that. But that's just me. So I'm still going to rant about that. and that's just me. Yeah, so Matt Milkins is a nice guy. Even if you don't kiss his ass or buy his lightsabers. Yeah, he all he cares about is keeping the lore in front of people. And that website, the expandeduniverse.com, is something that he is one of the co-creators behind. And so very, very useful and informative website. So I highly recommend that from him. And of course, subscribe into his channel. I know Soul Assassin shared the link. So let's get into this, you guys. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. Okay, so here we go. Personal combat. I've stated that the Force is venom. Because you are a Sith Lord, you realize, oh yeah, and of course, oh my God, not all Sith use the term Darth. That is a fact. So whether they choose to or not, or they explain why they do or not, does not matter. If their name doesn't, like, they're not addressed by Darth and it's not shared in the lore, Darth, then they're not using the term Darth. Get your shit right. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. You realize the truth in my words. You cannot dilute our power. You must also keep yourself strong, not only in the numbers, but in combat. The purest expression of victory is through combat. So this is like the Sith perspective of using the Force and victory, all of this. It's kind of all muddled all into this power control thing, right? I will not permit my legacy to become a blurred copy of a copy. These pages contain what you must know if you wish to defeat an enemy with a lightsaber or the Force. Do not rely solely on what your own master has taught you. Study these arts. Drink directly from the source. And this is still pertaining to the rule of two. This is Bane. And that masters, they leave things out on purpose when they train their apprentices. So it makes the apprentice hungry for more and more and more. It makes them want to study on their own. It gives them incentive to go out and look and search and stuff. That's how they see they are worthy and grow. Let's see here. And says, combat not killing your master while they're drunk or asleep. You're calling out Palpatine. That's funny shit. That is funny shit, but I get it. Holy shit, that's a good one. All right, lightsaber construction. Now, I did a video, like a series, and I still didn't finish it because I'm just sometimes a bad content creator. But I did put it together, a series of lightsaber, history of lightsabers. And guess what? The Sith invented the non-cord lightsaber. And hey, Becky Brown. How are you doing? I see you. Whoopsie, wrong one. Yeah, so I just thought I'd throw that history out here. So the lightsaber is the weapon of a Sith Lord. Properly wielded, it is extension of your body, a limb that requires no conscious thought to move or possession. If you lose your lightsaber, it should feel as if you have suffered an amputation. Very interesting, because even Obi-Wan Kenobi tells Anakin, the saber is the lightsaber is your life, basically. And I'm paraphrasing because he didn't exactly say it in those exact words. The Jedi also carry lightsabers. They harvest their lightsaber crystals from a mine. The Sith, however, have have long had superior alternative. Raw elements cooked in a brewed furnace will produce an artificial crystal, one that can generate an energy blade that will burn with a bright crimson light. No, they don't fucking bleed their crystals. It is, they cook up their crystals. They make artificial crystals. And because this artificial crystal is forged through dark side meditation, it carries the essence of your will, knowing that your red blade is strong and can break the green and blue blades of a Jedi. Such results are proof that an individual can overcome anything found in nature. So, like Palpatine says, dark side is unnatural. Again, I'm paraphrasing. This is another example of that unnatural nature, right? So Quinlan Voss annotates here. He says, I'd love to have an edge in combat, but this is wishful thinking by the Sith. Red blades are weaker, and they're the ones that break. Jedi don't like artificial crystals anyway, not when there are such beauties in Elam. And we know that eventually Luke and his people, because of the fact that a lot of places and resources were destroyed by the Empire, they had to make synthetic crystals. Luke's his own lightsaber is synthetic. This is from Sidious. This is what has become of the Jedi, watered down and weak. That's what he thinks. But little does he know that once he meets Luke, that's a different story. He's meeting a new age of Jedi, I guess you can say. Let's see here. Are any of y'all old enough to have seen those TV remotes that are connected to the TV with a wire? That's basically a Jedi lightsaber before Sith. I love your analogy. Oh my God, that's hilarious. All right, let's see here. And before I move on and I read this last annotation by Luke himself, Soul Assassin asked last week, if you guys remember, if you were with us last week, what type of lightsaber and form would you have as a Sith? So basically I summed that up too, paraphrase that too. So if you guys want to think about that, share in the comments there as we go through this here. All right. The lightsaber is a mechanical construct, but I believe that the use of a natural crystal helps link it to the living force, and that's Luke. But, his was never, his is basically synthetic because there's no way for him to have found a crystal on Tatooine when he was there having at Obi-Wan's old place. He was healing his hand, letting it bond and stuff. He was, practicing force abilities, training himself with what Obi-Wan had left behind for him in the journal, as well as the teachings that both Obi-Wan and Yoda have given him. And so that's and you can read all about that in Shadows of the Empire. So check that one out. Becky Brown says, after listening to the Darth Bane trilogy, I wonder what kind of lightsaber Darth Cognis used and what it looked like. She took Bane's until she made her own. And that's the thing. There's all those mysteries of I wonder, because we'll never get those stories now. But that's an interesting point. I wonder what her hilt look like and what color her blade may have been. It could have been, usually it's red. But we also know that some Sith still did blue and other colors. So, and the Soul Assassin says, I go with Exar Kun's saber and Jayo's fighting style. Okay. All right. So Sith lightsaber variants. As you can see, I have 3 covers, 3 pages on one. Reason for that is because this is a heavy topic. The remaining components of the lightsaber can be assembled from everyday materials, are the rarest of metals, or the rarest of metals. It matters little so long as the crystalline hearts has been forged by your will. The other elements, a power cell, an emitter matrix, and the magnetic emitter ring, or focusing lens will be placed around the red shard without the hilt. The crystal is special, but these pieces are replaceable. That means if something happens, it could be replaced and the lightsaber can be reconstructed. Use them, replace them, but always ensure that the crystal and the blades are bright and strong. Depending on your chosen fighting style, you may incorporate innovations in your lightsaber hilt that will aid you. You should not care for ceremony, only the results. If the innovation works, do not hesitate to use it. If it proves superfluous, I swear I have like a reading impediment sometimes, remove it immediately. So the blade lock. A small notch added next to the activation stud will make it possible to leave the blade extended after it leaves your hand. This is useful for throwing, but can prove dangerous if the lightsaber is jarred out of your hand or buffeted with a force push. So the pressure grip. This customization replaces an activation stud and assures that the lightsaber will ignite only when held. If you align the pressure grip with your unique biology, you will be the only one who can activate it. So very interesting there. And I'm going to read Luke's annotation right now. Let me see. I have to switch the page. Sorry about that, you guys. There we go. So I'm on page 81. Okay. The hilt variants are interesting. One of my former students built a hidden compartment in his lightsaber to hold a new Republic credit chips, Luke. So that's very random, but that's how you can be very creative with their hilts. Force activation. With this configuration, the circuit that connects the power cell to the crystal can be completed with your mental energy. Only you can wield such lightsabers, but if your attention lags during the combat, the blade may blink off. So you still got to stay connected or it's going to shut off. Beskar hilt. Dun, dun, dun. And you guys all know what Beskar is, right? Beskar, also known as the Mandalorian iron, is resistant to lightsaber blow. This material is extremely rare, but if you choose to incorporate that into your hilt design, it could be used to intercept a Jedi blade. Very, very interesting. And Quinlan Voss says lightsabers should have hand guard. If your rut strikes the guard, you can use it for wrenching. So that guard. So there you go. And let's see here. You guys are amazing, just having fun in the chat and discussing that. Mace Windu's is a half-bled crystal. I don't know where. I don't know. His isn't half-bled. Are you just talking about Disney lore for it to be purple? Because that does not make sense. Originally, his crystal was gifted to him. The purple blade was gifted to him. So there's story behind that. I'm just going to say it was gifted to him. In short, it was never bled because that's not a thing that happens in original lore. And then 99th Jedi says, my chosen lightsaber would be a single hilt. My chosen forms would be form 3, 4, and 3, 4, 5, and form 3 because of how Obi-Wan used it in form because Anakin Vader. I see where you're getting at with that. Okay, because you admire their forms and stuff. I don't think I've ever gotten the name of the form that Luke created himself for himself, and I think he's trained other Jedi from his order that form. If Soul Assassin or maybe Justin, if you remember the name of that form, if it was ever named that Luke invented, let me know because I never found it. Bleeding kyber crystals is lame. I agree, Melissa. I agree. All right, so let's move on. It's asinine. I agree. It's very asinine too. So let's see here. Lightsaber combat. So this is page 82. The Jedi teach 6 forms of lightsaber combat. This is the excessive and waste of time. There's no need for a Sith lord to study any form that does not change one's aggression.
A battle should be end quickly, excuse me, and at every moment, one should be assessing the ways to dispatch one's opponent. Select the most direct method. So do you guys agree with that? Do you guys agree that Jedi waste too much time teaching all these forms? I'm going to move on, but let's see if you guys have any thoughts in the chat here pretty soon. There are two key forms of lightsaber combat a Sith must master: strong style and fast style. The latter emphasizes footwork, speed, precision, and acrobatics, with some exceptions, such as the tactics of my own apprentice. First style is rarely suited for a Sith. A dark side supplies us with strength, and that strength must be used. Hate makes us powerful. Strong style is expressed as Djim. I probably said that wrong, but that's okay because I tend to do that. And, you know, even throughout the Star Wars history, like Coruscant was, you know, mispronounced so many times. There's so many examples of that. And then an ancient philosophy that requires you to combine your body weight and your muscular strength with the energizing drug of anger. So the energizing drug of anger. Energizing drug of anger. Interesting. So have you see how you notice like how anger empowers, gives them strength? So like I'm just gonna go back to Disney Star Wars, and I'm gonna go back to that controversy topic that I discussed when the movie came out, and this is Force Awakens. So when their character Kylo Ren, the wannabe grandson of Anakin Skywalker, was hit in the side by Chewie's bow, compound bow. They said, oh, it weakened him. That's why Rey beat him, right? But when you get into Sith history, anger and even pain strengthens you. So that was the bit of wisdom I was using to counter their bullshit. So energizing drug of anger. So anger gives you muscular strength. It gives you drive. It gives you determination in a sense of wanting to defeat. It gives you basically you want to destroy. You, that anger puts you into that state of revenge, right? So that's what I used to counter back then. I still see that now and then that some stupid idiot brings it up again because they want to put their lore, Disney Star Wars lore, in front of everybody and rehash old talking points because they want to keep that in front of people, I guess you could say. And why not to create controversy about it? And then they have to try to defend something that was poorly written too. So that's funny. But anyways, let's get back into this. So that the execution of your blows will land with enough force to crack armor. When used for defense, the Djim so turns an attack back on the attacker. If you deflect a blade at a vulnerable angle, it will draw your opponents in close enough for a gutting slash or an elbow in the face. Deflecting a blow may also draw your enemy into a blade lock, which is easily won with the strength of your arms and the power of your hate. Another facet of strong style defense is Sheen, a blocking incoming blaster fire, which generates this defense. Some choose to use a reverse grip on the lightsaber hilt. Sith Sheen should be Sheen. I'm like, you guys know what I mean. Should be a temporary measure used only long enough to shorten the blade distance to your opponent or to recover from a kill so that you may find your next target. Deflecting bolts against your attacker can be useful, but be aware that this tactic is a waste of time of your physical prowess. And then any combat situation or style can be enhanced by the use of Dune Moch, I guess I'm saying, This tactic employs taunts and variable attacks to weaken your enemy's will. It takes only a few words to expose your opponent's lack of confidence, to lay it out, to manipulate. So basically, this is a psychological attack along with your weapon. And we see that like in with Vader and even Palpatine towards Luke in Return of the Jedi. Oh, is it mock? Because it's spelled, M-O-C-C-H, so mock. Okay, I get it. I'm all trying to make it sound more fanciful than it really is. So let's read these annotations here. Luke says, my style is a hybrid, but it's built on what I know. I now understand is consider the Jedi form. For even the more aggressive Jedi styles emphasize defense, while the Sith only seem to care about attack. And he has a point there, and that's Luke Skywalker. And Voss says, with the Sith, everything is overkill. There's no need for the killing. Yeah, that's what it says. When I knock somebody down, they stay down. All right, Quinlan. And Sidious goes on to say here with his annotation at the bottom of the page, done mock may backfire if it provokes any enemy to mindless anger. But rage opens your enemy to the dark side, which can be exploited in its own way. And again, you see that in Revenge of the Sith applied towards Luke Skywalker. So very interesting bit of facts there. OG uses mock when dealing with Shield on Twitter. There you go. I mock them. Okay, let's see here. And smash the like. And then Jim the Despot is here. Sorry I'm late, everyone. That's okay. Have a seat and enjoy the ride. We are on page 84 if you have the Book of Sith. If not, it's up here. Let me see. Do I have the right? Yeah, I have the right PowerPoint page up here, so you can follow along through there. That's the point. I do PowerPoints, but again, I'm a big friggin' nerd. I'm getting ready to teach a lecture in the art department for Native American Heritage Month next month. And so, of course, I have my beautiful PowerPoints. I am teaching Native American art history and lecture and a workshop, creating your own art, similar art. And it's going to be on the winter count. So I'm very excited about that. So I love the teachers in the art department and stuff like that. They're cool people. And I love this opportunity that I'm always given to share, some of the missing, I guess you could say, elements are historical events within the art history. And that's Native American art and our evolution of art since, colonization happened when the first European settlers came here, and as they expanded outwardly and brought in like beads and other useful tools that favored us to expand our own art history and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I can't wait. But anyways, back to the subject at hand. Let's see here. There's a third style, though, is exceedingly difficult. It is called Jayo, or as my blade master obscurely referred it to, Vapad. There you go. Vapad. I was wondering when they were going to mention this. And it is a style the Jedi foolishly forbid. The key to the style is the same as our core belief. Emotions, not peace, will lead to victory. With Jayo, or Vapid, you might give yourself over to the sensations you feel in the heat of the battle, hatred for your enemies, fury towards those actions, and fear that they may prevail. Yes, fear. It is foolish to cover this emotion behind pride. Fear of death, fear of loss, and fear of chaos are primal motivators. Fear can be your fuel. So with that being said, we know that Mace Windu is like the proponent of taking Jayo and turning it into Vapad. And how only a few can learn it because they have to be able to control their emotions. They have to be able to step foot on that line and stay there. Because if you're not full in control of yourself and staying within the light during that time, that's the best way I can describe this, you guys. Okay, so don't get mad at me for this. Then you're gonna cross over. And then, like in the Republic comics, Quinlan Voss, has returned from him being undercover and stuff like this. And he does duel. And you could see that he, goes dark in that. And Mace is like, and this was just a counter, like, if I wouldn't say fun, but basically, this is my skills. I can do this if I remember. But anyways, Mace is like, you can't use this form because it's going to turn you dark. And that's why it's not taught to Anakin either. Just imagine if Anakin knew about, or he knows about it, but if he was trained in this, because he still didn't have control of his emotions, even as a young adult and growing up from 9 all the way up until before he turns in the Jedi Order. He is very conflicted because he has Palpatine manipulating him and all this other stuff. So just imagine that. And it's very, this form is very interesting because it takes you, you're not a gray Jedi because of this. It's about control of yourself and staying within the light while still using this method. Let me see. I just covered that comic. Oh, pretty cool. I just covered that comic on Monday. It's the second stream, part 2. If anybody wants to check it out, part of Asajj's EU story arc. Yes, it is. Yeah. So that's a very. I know we covered that too when I was covering the comics with Stieg here on CAF Chat 2 years ago. So very interesting, very, very informative, and very good storytelling in those comics. Soul Assassin says only 2 knew about Valpad and Windu and Sora Bulk. And let's see here. Depa was able to learn it, but Mace was her master. Yeah. And she does use that against him in Shatterpoint. So that's one thing. So just another bit of history there. Okay, so Jayo is based on a quick strikes and unpredictable attacks, but you are not fully embracing the style unless your emotions ignite your senses and elevate your abilities. So you guys, I'm just going to make this clear. This is the dark side perspective of this, whereas Mace's is the light side perspective. I need to make this very, very clear because this does not make Mace a gray Jedi like some people like to use as evidence. You still have to have your foot still in the light side or you're going to turn. It makes you vulnerable so that you have really strong in the force, strong in the light side. Excuse me, but do not succumb completely to your emotions. You are a Sith Lord, not an animal. As you take aim and fight through the tunnel of rage, you will experience transcendence. And in that moment, you are a perfect being and you cannot be beaten. You're at the last embrace within Jayo. So there you go. So there's that. So I want to read Quinlan's information here, his annotation. Master Drolig teaches this form, and I think Master Windu invented a variation on it too. He calls it Vapad, just like Bane's Sith instructor did. Could Master Windu be a still I'll look into it. So he's like, could he be a Sith or whatever? This is kind of confusing how Quinlan Voss talks here because Quinlan knows this style. He knows it. So I don't know if it's disconnect from the author here on creating this annotation or not, because by this time, I'm guessing he should have had that duel already that we were talking about with him. So that's a very interesting one because he does use it. He did use it. And Luke goes on to say here in his annotation, unless they overwhelm an enemy right away, most Sith Lords will eventually lose in a lightsaber duel. Without peace, you can't keep your mind clear. Without peace, you forget technique. And that's Luke. And that's why Bane says, it's not about technique or these forms. It's about the power, and what you're striving to do is kill your opponent, basically. Let's see here. So we are on 85. Let me see what you have to say. Mace Windu is basically a second in command of the Jedi Order. Which Quinlan is it, Chad or the dude bro one? That's what I'm trying to figure out with this, because that little annotation up in the corner of page 84 is a little confusing, because he knows that lightsaber form. He knows that lightsaber form. He knows that form already. And we just talked about that before coming to his annotation, about him using it and stuff. And Mace is basically critiquing him on it. Like, dude, no, you're going to go dark, and stuff like that. And I'm paraphrasing on that. Using the saber staff. Dun, dun, dun. So this right here has some beautiful history with George Lucas. And I was almost going to use this as a Lucas fact today, and I didn't. I went ahead and went with the Boba Fett armor and his looks and stuff. But another Lucas fact is that he was inspired by Exar Kun, and he used that inspiration of the lightsaber staff for Darth Maul. So there you go. So another little bit of interesting fact here for you guys. You guys got a bonus one. Let me see here. We don't know when the annotations were made, though. It could have been any time during the Clone Wars, but he is trained in it. That's my point. He is trained in it. And yeah, I get it. It could be technically before then, but I would say, and we'll have to look into this, because we know that Anakin wanted to become a master so he can get into the archives forbidden for the Jedi Knights. And so the archives consist of all the Sith history, the holocrons, all of that. So when did Qui-Gon become a master? And then also, when did he learn the technique Vapad? Because when he became a master, he had access to this book, this archival book, I guess you can say, if we're going to talk this way. So then he's reading through it and he's being able to write in here. But when was he trained in the form of Vapad? So those are two questions that we need to expand on. So those EU history buffs out there, nerds, let's get on it. So let's get on it. Quinlan learned some Vapad from Sora Bulk. Yeah. Why Jedi never use double-sided lightsaber? It was more or less a dark side desire. I don't know. I know there's history behind that. I have to look it up. From what I've seen, it was preferred by. But there are Jedi in the past, the Old Republic, that had double blade. I think the prequels, they mentioned Exar Kun when seeing Maul's new lightsaber. Or in Plagueis. I said prequels. Jeez, Laura, read. I will. I know you will. I know. Let's see here. Are you going to Legends console? That would be cool if you do. What? Too busy to? You sound like Star Wars theory. Come on now. What's wrong with you? Okay. The saber staff are the double-bladed lightsaber. The double-bladed lightsaber or saber staff has been known as a Sith weapon since the time of Exar Kun. I studied under the Blade Master Kasim and learned its secrets. It is a difficult weapon. Yes, it is. The saber staff may be constructed as a single piece, or it may simply be two interlocking lightsaber hilts that can be detached for two-handed combat. It is best used in wide sweeping motions while the hilt remains close to the body. It requires a firm stance and two-handed grip. Novices are likely to injure themselves while training, which will expose the flaws in their technique. Punishments can be a great teacher. Very, very interesting. Okay. So let's see here. Voss writes down here, a Sith weapon. Jedi use these all the time. We master Gelleric. Yeah. And I guess that's it. Maybe it's a Sith weapon. It is a Sith weapon. So there you go. There are notable Jedis who have used the double blade as well. It is a Sith weapon, but one suited for the barbarians among us. So he's calling Exar Kun a barbarian. How dare you, Sidious? How dare you? Okay. Let me grab a sip of coffee. I didn't bring my water in here. Damn it. Let's see here. Did I forget a page? Oh no, it's the I'm on the third one here, and it's page 86. If I own circus film, Karen Gillian would be cast as my Darth Zana. Oh, interesting. Well, the EU version anyways. Oh, I didn't read what was said earlier. Sorry about that. I'll be in the minority. Mara saying babe material. Oh, and speaking of babe material, let's have a pause here real quick. We need to wish a happy birthday to a certain actress. What was her name again? Let me see here. Okay. Let's see here. Let me pull this up real quick. I know you guys like, what the hell you guys talking about? Well, I'm bringing it up right now because I think it's important. I totally forgot about it until now. And I should have saved it when I seen it last night, but let me go ahead and find the actress. I can't think of her name, but I got the character up. Okay. Let's see here. So it's Ayla Secura's actress. What was her name again? I'm trying to pull it up here. But today is her birthday. Ayla Secura actress. Ayla Secura actress. I know those in the chat may know her name. I keep on forgetting it, and I apologize. So Ayla Secura. Okay. Amy E. Allen. Today is her birthday. She was born October 24th, 1976. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up just her and her. Let's see here. Oh, damn it. Stop it. Let's see here. What's going on? My phone's going off, but I don't need you to do anything right now, dude. Dude? Okay. Hold on. Let me answer this. It's my son. Let me pull this up here and you guys could talk about it because I need to answer this text from my son. Let me see here. Oh, you sent it to me? Thank you. Thank you. That's easier when it's sent in. Let me see here. You have that holocron person, but that's okay. Happy birthday to Amy Allen. Let me go ahead and put this up here for you guys, and then I'm going to answer the text real quick. So here you go. Here she is, Amy Allen. She was born in 1976, so she's a year older than me. But look at that. It's her birthday. You pick. I'm having a lunch date with my son today. So he's asking what we should have. And I said, you pick right now because I don't want to think about it. So there you go. Amy Allen, today is her birthday. Happy birthday. She embodies the EU character that was brought in by George Lucas. So let me go ahead and remove this and we'll go ahead and play the clip that I have here. And then we'll get back to our subject here. And then we'll get into the book of the week. So let me go ahead and find it here. Where is it? I know I have the clip here. Here we go.
Jedi is something that came a little later. When we started building Jedis, we had a lot of Jedis, and we needed more and more Jedis. As we were doing them toward the end, we ended up with a lot of Jedis that looked like people that worked at ILM, with these short little haircuts and looked like they stepped out from behind a computer. And so I was saying we have to get more exotic Jedis, and so we only have so much resources to do these things with, but I do have Twi'leks because we use them quite a bit in other areas in the Senate and as background action. So I have a sort of a wardrobe and a setup of certain kinds of characters. So it was a way of reinventing some of those characters. And I had realized that we had a comic book that has a Twi'lek in it that is a Jedi. There's a whole series actually of her. And I said, well, why don't we put her in this? I mean, she's a comic character, but we'll just fit her in and have her be a background character because that's exotic. That's how the Twi'lek Jedi ended up in the backgrounds of these shots, was to try to use some of the work and effort that the guys in the comic book world had put into things and characters they had created.
So there you go, you guys. So happy birthday, Amy Allen. And, we love your portrayal of Ayla Secura. She's an amazing character. She comes from the EU. Very fascinating. And thank you, George, for bringing her in as well to us. Happy birthday. So she's a year older than me. Wow. Not even a year older because of the time frame, but still. So amazing. Amazing indeed. And George embraced the male gaze. He sure did. And even his wife today is good looking, so. All right. So let's get back into this because we are on a schedule and we're already at 10:27 my time. Let me see where we're at. I think we're going to pause at Sith Armor and continue next week. But next week, I also want to get into the scary corners of the galaxy is what I'm going to call it. So all the scary type aliens and stuff like that. I'm going to put together. So I may even pause this and continue it the following week, and we'll get into Halloween, crazy, scary stuff. You might have a guess on maybe what book I'll have for book of the week, but it's all going to be Halloween, ghost, goblin kind of theme within the galaxy. The Anazati, yes, we're going to get into that. So there's going to be Soul Assassin helped me comprise a list. I had half of the species written down, and he was like, here, what about this? And so he had a lot more added to that, which thank you so much, because I wanted to get as many as possible and share images and some of their history and stuff. So we'll get into Halloween-ish kind of things for CAF Chat, because CAF Chat is on Halloween. So, and Galaxy of Fear as book of the week, I'm not gonna give you a definitive answer, but yes, that's a qualifier for the Halloween themed type CAF Chat. So, what was the alien species that looked like skulls? Kate Skywalker killed one in Legacy. Oh shit, I forget the name, but I know what you're talking about. I'll have to take a look. I don't recall their name. So let's get on. Let's finish this up here, and we will leave off at Sith Armor. So this will be a part 2. I thought I was going to get done, but we have cringe factor and other things to talk about. Do not be confused into thinking thinking they are two blades. The blades are connected. If you know the position of one, you know the position of the other. But while both blades are in motion, you can choose to extinguish one blade and surprise your enemy with a sword fighting lunge or riptos. The saber staff is ideal for defeating multiple opponents, as well as for defending against blaster fire. The broad energy barrier created by the whirling saber staff is impenetrable blah, 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 when deployed by the skilled Sith Lord, one who possesses the precognitive abilities to sense the timing and the vector of a threat. But this type of barrier defense should be used only temporarily while you choose to distance separating you from your attacker to deliver a fatal slash. Do not feel You must learn everything from your master, or that you must shoulder the burden of every instruction to your apprentice. The Aeolian Nova Guard, the Nikto Margukai, and the Siyugi Devarishes have all elevated combat into an art form. Hire those who provide useful to your combat education, or employ them as assassins or guards. Among their members, look for those who may be touched by the Force. They could become your acolytes, or a pool from which you pluck your next apprentice. However, if they learn more of your ways than you are comfortable sharing, kill them. So there we go. We'll end with kill them. So if they advance over you, kill them, basically. You know, you don't want them to supersede you, basically. Let's see here. OG, wow, talking bad today. What did I say? I'm always talking bad. It's just been my habit as of lately. I'm like, I've been unfiltered for a long time. What was the alien species that I already read that one? Okay. All right, so this is it right here. We'll get into these here next, or the following week. So another great big of topics. So there you go. So now let's go ahead and get into book of the week.
I hate to say it, but it looks like the item you're searching for doesn't exist.
Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete.
If an item does not appear in our records, it does not exist.
So, what do you think that is? Here we go. It's not necessarily a book, it's a comic. Darth Maul. So, the writer is Ron Mars. The color artist is Drew Struzan. And Drew is one of the people that we covered for the Art of Star Wars series that will be on the expandeduniverse.com coming in November. Penciler is Jan Dirasima, amazing artist and storyteller. Inker Rick Magyar. Colorist Dave McCaig. Letters Steve Dutro. Published September 2000, and it's in the timeline 32.5 BBY. Now, I don't have my Essentials comic book source book on me. I down in my in the bookshop. I should have grabbed that before CAF Chat, and I forgot all about that. So we can talk a little bit more about that. But the continuity notes, basically from what I pulled up and stuff, is Maul's murdering of Vygos is referenced in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith novelization, Darth Maul Shadowhunter, Darth Maul Saboteur, and Darth Plagueis. So, like the time when he, in this comic series where he murders Vygos, it's all referenced back in those source materials as well, or those novels and stuff. The scimitar is given to Darth Maul for his first time during this episode. It is also the first time Maul uses its probe droids, his probe droids and its speeder bike. So there you go. So we see first time stuff uses here, which is also used later on, like in the movie and stuff like that. So a little bit of continuity notes here as well. So again, not necessarily a book, but this is book of the week. Darth Maul. This should be already published on my timeline for in Twitter and stuff like that. This will be also published in the YouTube community page here on YouTube. So here you go. Darth Maul, Star Wars Darth Maul. And thank you, Soul Assassin, for bringing this to my attention. I've been wanting to share a comic for Book of the Week. And so he's like, how about this one? I'm like, might as well. We're talking about the Sith anyways, right? So thank you so much for that. And if you guys have an idea for Book of the Week, I even if I don't use it for the week that is coming up, I will have that in the lineup, if that makes sense. If I use it for the week that you mentioned it, then I do. If not, then I'll have it up in the lineup and stuff like that. So I always take recommendations. Sometimes there's something I'm overlooking, and I would love for you guys to just share. Popcorn yellow striped smile. Yep, thank you, Silmar. Yep, the Scimitar Plagueis' ship created by Tenebris. Correct. Isn't that pretty neat how all this continuity connects and stuff? It's just so wonderful how seeing all these cross references and their origins and how they're used and all this other stuff. So there we go. I wonder if Dooku and Jocasta Nu have that sort of chemistry before the former left the Order. You would think that they would have something, or like their personalities would sync with each other, I guess you could say. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I could see that. I can. I mean, they have to have the whole library knowledge about the galaxy. All right. So there you go. Book of the week. Now let's get into cringe factor. This is going to be a short and sweet one, but it's going to make you be like, huh? What? Does this person know what they're writing about? Of course, they all make you think that, right? They all. So that's just it. I think just Jocasta respected Dooku. Yes, she probably did. I'm pretty sure she might have been attracted to him. Maybe I'm just guessing, but that's just my that's just how I see her personality. But back in that time, relationships were forbidden, basically. So let's see here. Let's get into our cringe factor. But first, since we were talking about it,
I had fought the worst of all wars and witnessed the redemption of evil. I have seen balance restored to the Force. But order can turn to chaos, as it did when I was born. Now, with my loved ones and my loyal allies, I face a new challenge unlike any before. And I'm not sure this time we can win.
Star Wars Vector Prime by R.A. Salvatore, the first novel of the new Jedi Order.
So uncivilized.
So uncivilized. That Vector Prime commercial never gets old. You can hear the direness and the almost hopelessness in Luke's voice in that. It's a good commercial. It is really a good commercial. And I'm not trying to be biased because, that's what we're going to be hosting here pretty soon is our conversation, our talk, our review on Star Wars Marvel Purist's channel on November 9th. But that's just something just to think about when you listen to that commercial and you get and reread or read the series. Good stuff. Great stuff, really. So with this, what is this about? Well, a new Star Wars, I hate when that happens. A new Star Wars concept art would have actually improved Return of the Jedi's best scene. So what do you think that really is? I was so kind of surprised when I read through it and where the conclusion is. And this is by David Miller. He's no stranger to cringe factor. And I wonder where he gets this crazy idea. So, unused concept art for Star Wars, The Phantom Menace would have improved one of the best scenes in Return of the Jedi. It was not always clear why Jedi robes were supposed to look like the Star Wars original trilogy, since Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda wore simple robes while Luke wore a black outfit as he became a true Jedi Knight in Return of the Jedi. The Star Wars prequels would reveal that Jedi robes were generally similar to those worn by Kenobi and Yoda, though there were, of course, plenty of colors and stylistic variations. Some of the viewers criticized the prequel trilogy choices to have most Jedi wear robes similar to Obi-Wan in the original trilogy, I've never seen any criticism about this. Some viewers criticized the prequel trilogy to choose to have most Jedi wear the robes. I've never, ever, ever heard that as a criticism. Ever. It was about continuity. So we see these two old masters train unconventionally this new Jedi to take his spot and rebuild the order and defeat the Empire, rebuild the order, right? But these two Jedi masters are dressed as they were taught, I guess you could say, from their time, from when the order was fully operational. That sounds funny. Fully operational and functional. But when the order was at its, I guess you could say, quote unquote, prime before its fall. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's a glimpse into the past that they're honoring the Jedi from before. So I don't know if you guys seen anybody use this as a criticism. I have never seen this used as a criticism. So let me see what you guys are saying here. The black robes were showing Luke's growth and how he went from white innocent to black more experienced. Correct. And I was going to get to that, but thank you so much for bringing that up. We'll get more into that as well. And then why Anakin went from light to dark as well in his styles. I do have the hero's journey video of Luke Skywalker and how the wardrobe represents what Soul Assassin says here. So that I have a video of that. It's very informative. Well, Rey's costume turns white. Jedi robes were technically mandatory, but used to making themselves look more humble and loose for combat. Correct. That's another reason too. Let's see here. And I remember a video speaking about how Luke's black outfit was like a representation of how close he was to the dark side. In a sense, they taunted him, manipulated him. He could have turned. He caught himself because of, you know, being taunted psychologically to defend his sister's honor when Vader threatened to bring her to the dark side. So there's that. He did use a dark side, but not so much as it. No, he never used the dark side. Luke has never used the dark side. He's always been purely white, and that is discussed too in Legacy of the Force when Jason is talking about to Lumaya about Ben and Luke and how they are fully immersed in the light side, that it would be impossible to turn them. Like it would be I wouldn't say impossible, but they're so encapsulated with the light side, it would be a struggle. Because Luke is aware that he can turn. He even talks about that too when he says, I can't go after Jason, because no matter what the circumstance is going to be, either him or I, it's going to still be in darkness. So he understands. He understood he was tainted at the time. I thought it was because Lucas wanted Luke to look like a modern priestess, or a visual cue. Priest as, okay, a visual cue. It's not, I don't remember him stating that in any of my research, but I could have missed something. Let's see here. That's why he won't fight Jason after first confrontation, right? Yeah. So very interesting there. So let's get back to this article. It retroactively makes Kenobi seem as though he didn't bother to disguise himself while hiding from the Galactic Empire on Tatooine. Are you fucking kidding me? Does he not understand that like Tatooine is like in control of the Hutts and the Empire basically ignored that area, really didn't set foot. They did have a small garrison at times. But that wasn't their focus. That was Hutt control, and there was basically an under the table understanding between the Hutts and the Empire. And then when you look at the garb there on Tatooine, it's kind of similar. And then they mocked him by saying he's the king of the Jawas, if you read Kenobi novel. Okay, Mr. Miller, do you not know anything about the history of Obi-Wan Kenobi in his exiles and the Jedi robes and stuff like that. Well, a fair point to make. Many Tatooine background characters in A New Hope and to a lesser degree in Return of the Jedi wore similar attire. Okay, I just now fucking corrected you. So I don't know why you wrote that and then go back and corrected yourself, making his continued use of the Jedi robes for far less of an issue. So you went and said, oh, by the way, he did this, but I'm going to go ahead and retract it in the next couple of sentences. You're fucking idiot. Okay, interestingly, concept art for the Phantom Menace envision Jedi robes, which take inspiration from a different character. Okay, so I think I have the Phantom Menace concept art. So let me go ahead and grab that real quick since I have this, because as an artist, of course, I'm gonna have that shit, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go walk over to my bookshelf. I have it on top. All my source material is on top, so I can easily find it. Well, let's see. Episode 1 or Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Where is it? Now that I'm saying, hopefully you guys can hear me. Where is it? Oh no. It's a little small paperback book. Where are you? Here it is. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. I'm fine. It wasn't in the right spot. That's all. It wasn't with the rest of the concept art of the movies. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So this is what he says. This is what is said as concept art for Episode 1 for Jedi and their robes. But why would it be when they were already established in the OT? And let's see here. This is a small book. there might be a bigger source book, and I probably have just the little miniature one, which then I have to go ahead and do my research and find. But I'm looking for it right now. I should have done my homework last night, but I didn't. That's just me sometimes. Let me see here. There are Jedi in customary brown and white robes here, not just that. And I'm not finding this concept art of this Jedi here that he's claiming should be, that is what the look is of a Jedi. Very interesting. I don't think that he's fully done his homework. And like I said, this right here, I'm going to go ahead and put myself on camera a little bit. I look hideous, you guys. So, holy crap, I apologize. But, oh, let's see, I don't have the lineup. I don't have my lights on and stuff like that. So, sorry for that. It's so dark. So, this is the one I have. I have the bigger hardcover ones, and I'll show you some concept art for Jedi in here. Here are some. So Jedi Council members' conceptual designs. So here they are. Nothing of what this idiot is saying is the concept art during that time frame. Okay. You couldn't see my face hardly. Again, I'm in pajamas and all this, you guys. My hair is all pinned back and all that. I'm sorry. So, yeah, it looks like Exar Kun or Wolf Cargo. Yeah, Wolf Cargo. So, yeah. So basically, let me put this back on. Oh shit! Don't add to stage. There we go. There we go. All right. So I think Mr. Miller. What book was it? So he's saying this is concept art from the image that's shared on screen from Episode 1. The book I shared is Art of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So he's saying that it's concept art from here. I will look in the bigger concept art book I have from Star Wars to see if it's in there. But I already shared with you guys that the concept art of the Jedi Council and stuff like that, brown and white robes or brown and white tunics and stuff like that. So there we say, use your phone to flashlight. Yeah, I should have done that. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't have any lights, and I have the light behind me, so it shadowed us. Lafayette, yeah, the Jabba only cared about his own clan. Yes. And let's see here. Hey, Soul. Okay. All right. So let's get back into this. Sorry that it was kind of not productive of trying to share that with you. So this right here, let's see what he has to say. Early concept artwork of Obi-Wan in The Phantom Menace shows him wearing black Jedi outfit. There is none so far, but again, it could be maybe in a different, bigger source book that I will look up and then I will share with you guys on Twitter and on this YouTube page, the YouTube community YouTube here. Outfit that has far more in common with Luke Skywalker's Return of the Jedi attire. Than what he would later wear in hiding in Tatooine. Of course, this concept was would not make it in the final film because there's consistency. So just say that he's right, and then there's one of my other resources books have that concept. Keep in continuity. That's a concept, right? Oh, but Filoni said, George says continuity is for wimps. Okay. Well, then George is the biggest wimp of all times, and I'm so happy and thankful for it because of him being cowering as a wimp and keeping to continuity. I absolutely fucking love Star Wars because of the continuity and the consistency of it. Okay, so let's move on. Of course, this concept would not make it into the film, but it would have been an entertaining connection to Return of the Jedi, making Luke Skywalker's black outfit more meaningful. How would that fucking make it more meaningful? Anakin's turn and how you see his outfit progress from lighter, I wouldn't say lighter browns, but a lighter shade of brown, I guess you could say, to black. Basically, that is more significant because it's a son and father comparison. We both see going from lighter outfits of, hope and innocence, to harden dark side or almost going dark and maturing as a Jedi. Okay. So Luke's clothing would have been retconned to underline his argument. Huh? Whose argument? Let me see here. In Return of the Jedi, that Obi-Wan's robes were always meant to be standard Jedi robes by showing ghosts of Anakin in the initial outfit. There is no argument. Whose argument are you talking about? Let's see what he says. In the emotional and action-packed finale of Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker refuses to give into his temptation of the dark side and kill his father, declaring himself a Jedi like his father before him. Although Anakin wore black Jedi robes in Star Wars Episode 3, Luke's line has more to do with referencing Anakin's past as both Jedi and a good man than something as shallow as his attire. However, if the prequels made all Jedi wear similar clothing like Luke, the line would have been that much more powerful. Again, it's not that the garbs had to be all one color scheme. There is a bit of tolerance. This David Miller's missing the point. Anakin's clothing turning from the medium brown, I guess you can say, lighter for color garbs that he wore on Tatooine to medium brown to black is indication of his turn. George was using visuals to share what was going on. And that's the same with the OT, with every single character, maybe with the exception of Han, because his outfit stayed more consistent than anything else. But between Leia and Luke, their garbs changed upon their growth. Whether their growth was going from this hard woman that worked and did everything for the galaxy, leaving her feminism out of everything to softening into a woman and as a soon-to-be lover, wife, what have you. versus Luke from coming from this naive, innocent farm boy, basically, to his journey of loss and discovery and manipulation of them trying to turn him to taking the stance as I am a Jedi like my father before him and becoming a Jedi Knight. So visuals mean a whole lot of things. And maybe this is what this guy is trying to say, but I think he's missing the point of the visuals that George was conveying towards these characters, right? So let's go on. The Phantom Menace's concept art would have retroactively made Luke's Return of the Jedi outfit traditional Jedi attire, making his line liken him to not only the Jedi who Darth Vader used to be, but also the rest of the Jedi he once stood alongside. Interestingly, in both the modern canon and even more so in the original Star Wars legends, are basically the real original lore, the true canon, Luke Skywalker continues to wear his Return of the Jedi outfit long after the original trilogy. No, he does not. He does change in between. He still wears the traditional brown robes with white tunic. He also wears a darker robe, and I'll get into that here pretty soon. In the original timeline, traditional prequel style Jedi robes are rarely used by the new Jedi Order outside ceremonial purposes. Not really. Going through the new Jedi Order again, you hear the author talk about the character, the Jedi, and their brown Jedi robes. They still wear them. If they take them off, usually it's because they're going into flight, they're flying in X-Wings or what have you. But it's not all ceremonial at all. So you still have like Kip Duran, you still have Cornhorn and other Jedi wearing traditional robes. They're not going out around in everyday clothing. However, Luke was not staunch about that either. So there was this even middle ground. And now if Luke was to wear his attire, dark robes and stuff like that, that this would be a calling back to everything. Let's see. My point is, okay, so my point is, this David Miller wants Luke, like if he wore these traditional dark clothing afterwards and blah, 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 which he did off and on, he like, it would bring more meaning to Return of the Jedi. But I also went over Outcast again from the Fate of the Jedi. And that would have been a problem if he still continued to wear them all the fucking time. And he didn't have his traditional brown robes because he was basically arrested and he was going through trial. And so his lawyer is like, basically, what robes before we go in for your first trial? What robes do you want me to pick up any attire for you? And Luke at the time is wearing his dark robes and stuff like that. And he's looking down at himself and he's like, can you grab my traditional brown robes and white tunic, basically? Because if I go in looking like I look in my dark attire, it will remind them of Darth Vader. It wouldn't look good on me. So I don't think David Miller understands the concept of these visuals and what they mean according to the characters and what they reflect. So Luke was telling his lawyer, go get my traditional robes. Because if I wear this dark stuff, it's going to remind them of Darth Vader, and it's not going to bode well for me. It's not going to bode well for me whatsoever. So, so he changes. He changes into traditional Jedi robes for that circumstance. So I don't think this guy knows exactly what the visual arts of Star Wars is about. The Jedi were very lax with the robes mandate to a point. There are so many different styles they had, correct, but it's not like the High Republic. Let me see here. And going through several ideas before settling on a final official story is normal. Rough drafts are interesting and understanding for understanding the process. I agree. But that must include understanding the final choice as is. I agree. And let's see here. The Jedi were a religious order, not fashionists, not fashionistas. I agree. And let's see. And I guess Palpatine had a hold of what called the budget source, right? And also there is the fact that when Luke proclaimed himself as a Jedi, there was no formal Jedi order. He didn't receive many formal Jedi trainings at all. Yes, it was very unconventional. And then like you see, like this is like, again, visual arts, the visual storytelling. That is part of what George was doing. That flap in his tunic, like the buttons unfolded, the flap, the white side, the white inner lining shows. And that shows, that reveals that he chooses to stay within the light and become a Jedi. If you take that all away, it has no meaning. He's basically saying, if they did this, it'll bring this meaning, but you erase the whole underlining meaning of Luke's, stance as a Jedi, his transformation into a Jedi, the visualness of it, the visual artistry of it. Let's see here. The Empire is black and white. The rebels have earthly colors. Yeah, that's a nice little put to that as well. It's like clean, sterile, orderly place, right? And so like when you see Leia in her white customary Alderani dress, you could probably say it's traditional for Alderaan, but the color and I want to say the style, but the color of it, all white and stuff like that, of course, is a part of her innocence, even though, her part of her innocence, she wasn't that innocent, I guess you could say, not, and stuff like that. She was already a leader. She already seen so much dire stuff, already been through things, what have you. But the whiteness of that, it reflects her as a senator in the Imperial Senate. Yeah, she was in the Imperial Senate before it was dismantled, basically. So that's an interesting fact right there. Let me see. But Block is very slimming. Gotta hide that Jedi gut. The Jedi were... Okay, I read that one. So there you go, you guys. So I thought I'd bring this in here. This David Miller knows shit about the visual storytelling Lucas was telling within his overall story. So it's not only influenced by the score, by the storylines, how we see the actors, or we see the characters, interact with each other and with the villains within the greater galaxy, I guess you could say. But also the visuals were very important for the storytelling. There's so many depths within the story of Star Wars that George created that are carried on into the other medias within the franchise. It is amazing. It's something to sit down and think about, discuss with friends. And even if you're going to have a rewatch of like the trilogy, one of the trilogy or the whole 6 stories, the episodes, is point out those visual storylines, how they tie in between both trilogies and stuff like that. That would be an interesting, fun conversation and watch along to have, with like me, with my channel members, or with everybody as a whole, is having a watch party and pointing out the visual storytelling and stuff like that. All the depth things that maybe some people don't pick up and discuss. So let's see here. George Lucas Star Wars, the EU and its concept age like fine wine. I agree, sir. I agree. It's very superficial to take that that ignores the subtext and symbolism. Yes, I agree. All right, you guys. So there you have it. I told you this cringe factor was going to be short and sweet. And next week, be prepared for a Halloween CAF chat. All the crazy, spooky, weird species and things in Star Wars. So I'll have that. I need to start comprising that all together now. we're going to have fun with that. And we'll see if I'm going to do cringe factor or not. We'll see. We'll figure this one out. But why? Why is that always Screen Rat? Why? Because they have been the major contributors. I haven't went to CR or whatever their name is, are the other sources that I've used in the past. I believe Casual Rage is back tonight. Okay, so if he's back, go check him out tonight. Friday night, again, I don't know when I'm going to appear. I just know the night of. But I am not on the Wednesday night show, so I've been demoted, basically. No, I'm just joking. But check out the spacing Friday night, 7 or 8:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Usually I'm on, but I only get word as the time frame comes closer to when we're going to go live. So if I'm not on, don't be surprised. I'll be in the chat. I always joke around and say I've been demoted within the United Spacers Alliance, so I'm not included on the Wednesday nights anymore, or not anymore, since its inception, Wednesday nights. And again, I'm joking, but let's go ahead and hang out with each other. Nonetheless, I missed last night's show, so if you guys were there, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think that's they're it's right now they're talking politics, which is fine. We're coming up on elections, so catch me tomorrow night on the spacing, either in the chat or on the panel. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in and participating. I always look forward to our time together. And as always, if you're catching the replay and you stayed with me this whole entire time, thank you so much for your time sitting and enjoying the show. Let me know what you think. Leave some comments down below and like and subscribe, everybody. And as always, have a great Thursday, and may the force be with you. Have a good day, and I shall talk to you guys later. Let me find what I'm looking for here. Damn it. I can't find the commercial I want to go into. Oh my God. And here I go. Here we go. Here it is.
The fate of the galaxy is now in your hands. With the new LEGO Star Wars Slave One, you can load Captain Solo, arm your weapon systems, man the cockpit, and take off with the most feared ship in the galaxy. But watch out for rebel ships. No matter the enemy, no matter the firepower, you control the action. With the new LEGO Star Wars collection.
Another happy landing.